This video is going to cover how to reflect a point over the x-axis and over the y-axis. So here the extension practice worksheet here, 6.5, tells us to reflect the point in part A, the x-axis, and part B, the y-axis. So the very first thing we want to do is plot this original point. So I'm actually going to name each original point, point P, to keep this, keep track of this. So we're going to plot 2, 4, which will be right here, and we're going to label it P. And now our first step says to plot over the x-axis. So I'm actually going to do this in red. So we're going to plot a new point, and it's going to be called point A. So when we're flipping over the x-axis is this horizontal axis here, and we need to see how far our point P, our original point, is from the x-axis, because we're going to flip this over the x-axis, kind of like a mirror image. So we start in this first quadrant, and if we flip over the x-axis, we're going to end up in our fourth quadrant. So if we look at point P, that is 4 units away from the x-axis. So we want to make sure when we flip over that red line, we are still 4 units away. So here would be our point A, and the ordered pair for that would be 2, -4. So almost the same point, except when we flip over the x-axis, that y number changed from a positive to a negative because we moved quadrants. Now, that's the x-axis. Then we're going to go ahead and do the y-axis, so I'm going to do that in black. And we're going to call this B, since this is step B, part B. And we're flipping over the y-axis, which is this up and down, this vertical axis here. So again, we're going to go back to this original point P, and we're going to see how many units away from the y-axis this is located. So we are 2 units away from the y-axis. So when we flip this point over and go to quadrant 2, we want to be on the same level still, but 2 units away from the y-axis. So this ordered pair would be -2, +4. So our 2's and our 4's, that's still going to be used. Just what is going to be changing is the x-coordinate and the y-coordinate and their signs. So this B coordinate here, this ordered pair, instead of 2, 4, it's -2, 4. So here the x-coordinate changed because you flipped it over the y-axis. So then that's reflecting. So let's go ahead and try the second one. We're going to plot our original point P, -3, +1. Label that P. And then we're going to go ahead to our x-axis. We're going to flip over the x-axis. So if we look at this point here, it is 1 unit away from the x-axis. So on the other side, when we flip it over and we end up in the third quadrant here, we're going to be 1 unit away. And be careful because those numbers on the x-axis kind of make it look like that first box doesn't exist. But we're going to label that point A. So our new ordered pair for point A, when we flip it over or reflect it over the x-axis, is -3, -1. Then we're going to do the same thing with our point B, and we're flipping over this y-axis here. So we see that our point P is 1, 2, 3 units away. So we're flipping over the y, going into that first quadrant, and we need to be on the same level, but 3 units away from the y-axis. So 1, 2, 3, end up right there. Label that B, and we have +3, +1. So hopefully this helps. You're doing the same process on the front and the back. We're going to ignore the directions on the back and continue this reflecting that we've been doing on the front. Be careful when a point lies on the axis. So let's say a point was lying on the x-axis and you were trying to reflect it over the x-axis. You aren't able to do that. So if it lies on the axis that you're trying to reflect over, it ends up staying the same point. Okay? So go ahead and try those. Make sure you write your order pairs out to the side. A is going to be the point when you flip over the x-axis, and B is the point where you reflect over the y-axis. So make sure you do all 11 questions, front and back, and write all your ordered pairs to the side.